My name is Edward Vilga, and I'm a best-selling author. Many times I write about yoga and I teach yoga throughout the world. So I have had 7 books published and 2 films produced and created theater that's toured the world along with teaching a lot of yoga. And what excited me for my new project, book number 8, which is called The Yoga of Money, was that there's going to be a really strong online component. The course part of it was always very clear to me that was going to be central to its success. A colleague of mine, Joan Stewart, who is a publicity hound is her logo, but she's a genius at PR stuff, recommended Firepole. And I became very interested in it because I wanted to learn the things that I did not know about how you successfully launch an online course. The thing that made me take the plunge was that in the video that Danny had done, he talked about how in a previous one of their courses that they were really confident about the material and they knew they had a great product, but people weren't buying it for some reason, and so they evolved this whole system. And I've been on the other side of that as well. I've had things that I thought, well, this is amazing, why aren't people responding? And so I really wanted to, as I was shaping this in the very beginning, have it be something that people would truly want to buy and use and transform their lives. One of the amazing things about the course was that it transformed not only the way that I thought about online business, but the way that I approached my own work in general. I come from the sort of old school of being a creative artist where I create my best work kind of in isolation, maybe with a few close people around, and then I put it out there and I hope for the best. And oftentimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But what was really profound about this course was that it taught me the value of just testing iterations in a way that I felt had a lot of integrity. It wasn't like I would create something and run it by a focus group and do whatever they said to me. But the opposite was true, was that it confirmed that my ideas were valid, it showed me what people responded most strongly to. It allowed me to create something that I was super confident in on multiple levels, like that nobody else had done this yet, and that people wanted it, and that people needed it. So it was, that really did change how I thought about the online, but also how I thought about my work in general. I specifically took course builders to prepare the online course that was going to be part of my book. So I came into it with a unique trajectory of, I was writing a book, and I'd written 7 or 8 before, and I wanted to create the course around that. So I had a clear understanding of what it was, but course builders really helped me shape what the course was, like how it would be best suited for people, how people could get the most value out of it, how I could communicate best. And so that was really helpful to clarifying my offering. It was helpful too to remember that the whole philosophy was about pilots, so that rather than doing this 3-month course with 12 units, I did a 3 to 4 week program that was specific and powerful and narrow enough that I could really test and interact with people. So Course Builder really did help me shape that. Going through the course for me was a relatively smooth experience with only the most minor little bumps along the way. Some of the bumps were interesting because one of them was during my information gathering phase. The first person I spoke to was completely not a match for what I was doing. And that might have been much more discouraging because it was someone who, quote unquote, should have been a match, but was not. However, because I was doing so many interviews and gathering so much other data, it was easy to just let that get factored into a much larger pool where it was sort of factored out. Another moment that I felt that was a minor speed bump is I felt slightly overwhelmed when I started thinking about what is the first pilot going to be, and is it going to be this whole summary of my book and the project. But Course Builder helped me narrow and shape it so that it actually made sense and was completely doable, and doable in the near to immediate future while I was taking the course. I was using this system which involved validating data all the time. So it never felt like I was stranded and gambling and making things up. It felt as though I were snowballing this confidence of, no, this is working, I am not operating in a vacuum. I'm getting reinforcement and validation that I'm really onto something. And that proved to be true. Launching my pilot was invaluable because it gave me so much confidence in the material that I had, but was just based solely from my own intuition and instincts. There's something different about when you are launching it and people are actually responding and you're being proven correct, that this has value and that people are interested in it. I wanted initially to just have 12 people in the pilot, but without really trying, with just a couple of small emails, not an email to my list of a couple thousand people, I got 42 people. And that convinced me, beyond and a shadow of a doubt, that this topic had merit and the people found it compelling and wanted to get involved. And I got amazing testimonials afterwards as well. And so as I'm going to the next step, as we're going to publishers now, and as I'm preparing the next iteration of the pilot, I know that it works. I know that I'm not just hoping for the best. I know that it works in terms of its content. I know that it works in terms of being able to attract the right audience. And so for me, the greatest thing was this validation process meant that I could keep going in the right direction without nagging doubts, but total confidence. I think that the Course Builders Laboratory was incredibly valuable for me. I think you should know that you definitely have to do the work, like with anything, but you really do. There's a lot of material. I think that you should absolutely do it if this is something that appeals to you and you're really ready to go. I think it was very structured so that you could swing into action and get the benefit of their experience. And so if you're ready to do it, I would absolutely do it, and I'm happy to testify that I made the money back and that I'm ready to launch the next iteration of this in an increasingly exponential way.